Yeah, it is what it is, what it is to not apply. We're back again at the Gasi Talks, and we're joined by Tumelo Mokoena. We're talking about youth activism in today's democratic dispensation. So we're talking, Tumza, about, you mentioned one thing, organization, young people organizing themselves. And we said most of the time they feel the need to organize themselves within political parties. And that's not what activism is necessarily about. But now, are we as young people able to organize ourselves? Because look now, we have guys in the EFF who are fighting racism somewhere, somehow, and they're not getting any support from ANC guys. They're not getting any support from TA. But we are all young people. But when we're addressing issues, we are separated. Do you think we have organization as young activists?
Okay. 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 Let's get into that space. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, in politics, it's a contested terrain. And politics, it's about opportunism. If something happens, the question is who responds first. So now, with political parties, it's more like a horse race type of thing. And that's where the biggest problem is. You see? Because now, when political parties, I don't want to mention political parties.
Yeah.
I don't want to be regarded as pro this.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I just
fine. Yeah.
Yes, I don't want to be captured
Yeah.
incorrectly. So now, the point that I'm trying to raise is that the first thing that we need to question is that if we're fighting racism, all of us, irrespective of any political affiliation, are we championing that cause genuinely, or are we championing that cause to garner votes and support? And if the main objective is to get votes and support, then that's being populistic. You're not serving the interests of the people. You're serving your own interest to fit whatever agenda that you want to pursue. However, you're correct. If young people from different political parties could stand together and fight a common enemy, which is racism, or we're fighting unemployment, or we're fighting poverty or GPV, whatever the case may be, or even saying that, look, we want our land back as people, and therefore, irrespective of our political affiliation, let's agree, let's join forces, let's amend Section 25, let's move as a country so that everybody's equal. It's fine, I'm happy with that. But now it looks like a horse race, like I'm saying. You know, one comes and says land expropriation without compensation. The other one says, no, it's our policy from yesteryear, your copy. And others are saying, no, it can never work. You see? So now it shows that we are adhering to instructions of our puppet masters from closed doors. You see? Those who are saying land expropriation without compensation, it's not viable or workable, they know whose interests are they securing. And those who are saying we must expropriate land, but without even putting further context into it, on how to say, if we get land, how are we going to do? What are we going to do, and how are we going to use this
So
land?
to whom are they serving?
You see, so it's something that we must sit. So that's why I'm saying it's always good when young people organize themselves out of political parties. Because with political parties, there are a lot of red tapes and ideological differences.
Do you think we are able as young people to organize ourselves?
There's nothing that is impossible.
Yeah.
You see, because look, majority of young people are unemployed. Majority of young people are in informal enterprise type of work. You know, you've got, let me make an example, let me just go back. In 1997, you had 1,984,000 people who were working in informal enterprise. In 2003 and 2007 and 2005, the number went up to 2 million. 2 million plus, by the way. So now, you need to look at it in that sense. So once people are finding expression in informal trades, and that's where the biggest exploitation is. You see, when I'm speaking of informal work and informal enterprise, we're speaking about informal agriculture, we're speaking about domestic work, you know, these guys who are doing gardening there, you know. This is the type of work that is not even recognized as proper work. And this is the type of work that is not protected.
But yet we do not have young people standing up and said, we are tired of this unemployment.
No, they are.
Yeah.
People are standing up, but they're gatekeepers. They're gatekeepers. Look, you can't have, let me put it like this. Once you have a system that says we'll invest a lot of money into social grants, then you must be worried. You can't confirm a 25-year-old to a social grant. You see, a 25-year-old wants to be employed so that he or she offers labor and gets paid for labor. And equally, they take that money and use it for other things. In that way, we're circulating the economy. You understand? But if young people are sitting there in majority expecting handouts, now you are running a dependable state. Now you're going to have a country that is indebted for years and years. And IMF, rest assured, IMF and World Bank, they'll forever fund you and fund you. You'll be furtherly indebted. And you won't have that sovereign independence.
So do young people see something wrong with them forever?
Look, young people are always voicing out. For instance, there are a couple of young women that I've once spoken to who are SASSA grant beneficiaries. And they would always say, look, if I could get employment, I would do even far better because this is nothing. It's something, yes, because I can. Let's make an example. NAN OptiPro, it's 320. Pampers Premium is 314 or 317. You see now, that's 600 plus. You're getting 900 something, whatever. So you can't make ends meet. But if you're employed, you don't need that SASSA grant. So the government must open up space. Put private sector into pressure. You know, we mustn't be diplomatic to these private people, to these private sectors. They're making billions and billions and milking the country dry. What is it that they're giving in return?
So now, I would say you are raising a very interesting point. But you are saying young people are doing something.
Young people are
there is a book called The Coming Revolution. Do you think that there is a coming revolution? Because from where I'm sitting, I'm seeing people, young people who are deployed into government posts. They drink money, become corrupt, become very rich, forget about young people, and those who are in the ground, those who are suffering, they are being, as you say, gate-kept. But now we're still saying there is a coming revolt. Do you think young people, at some point one day, they will stand up in unity and revolt against the gatekeepers?
The revolution has started. The revolution has long started. It will take time, but it's going to gain momentum. The cracks have always shown. That's why when I spoke about the agreements in Codes and all that, that's where the cracks started. Who is this sunset clause? What is this sunset clause? Whom does it seek to benefit? You know, which other documents were signed off in that Codesa that are compromising us even today? So now the cracks are showing because friends like these are no longer friends like these. And now they're exposing each other for their corruptness. Now they're speaking of the correctness and the wrongness of whomever. And young people are starting to be woke. Young people are starting to realize that it seems like we're fighting battles of the old, who are not even prioritizing us. So a revolution is here.
Are we going to stand behind one banner, or are we going to fight separately but having one vision?
No, we're going to unite. Look, divide and rule strategy, it's what is happening in South Africa. They are dividing young people deliberately so that we don't find a common cause. Ask yourself why racism is mushrooming out of the blue and is championed by young people, white, Indian, black, whatever. Why? It's because if young people find signage, irrespective of skin color, and find a common goal, then we'll have this so-called rainbow nation. But this rainbow nation is not a rainbow because there are red tapes. So now, young people that you spoke of that are doing all those things that you spoke of, when not all of them. You know, we can't paint everyone with one paintbrush and color. However, the question is, who co-opted them into that system? Who mentored them into that system? Who taught them the shortcuts to this corruptness that you're advocating? They didn't just wake up corrupt. Someone must have corrupted the mind. Who is that? That's the first thing that we need to look into. You see? But not all of them, by the way, I must say. Others are being silenced because they've got sharp radical views. They're placed there behind the benches. You know, they're told that no, your time will come, you'll speak. But they will never have that time because they're sharp shooters of the revolution. So now, it's high time where we need to speak boldly. Racism is a systematic thing. For a white child to hate a black child, there is no white child that wakes up hating a black child.
You're right.
Someone instills this. Same applies. You see. So now, racism, it can be only black and white. It cuts across. It cuts across. You have Chinese people who don't like black people. You've got Indian people who don't like black and white people. You've got so racism. It's just a system that is meant to make people see each other with a certain posture. But we don't look at each other as human beings.
Lastly, will this revolutions across the whole world, and for many times, they have been at the cost of blood. People had to die for a revolution to realize its potential and finally take over. So at whose cost will this revolution be won?
We don't necessarily need to go to armed struggle and fight each other. We don't have to attain complete revolution through a barrel of a gun. Because with war, nobody wins. If I lose 30 men and you lose 5 men, we've lost 35 men. Nobody wins. You see? That's why with Sun Tzu, in his book Art of War, he says, at times the best war won is when you negotiate. Put ideas on the table. Brainstorm. Let's see who wins over his mind. And let's implement. But through a barrel of a gun, it will be a continuation. We've had World War I, we had World War II. It didn't end there. Countries are still killing, are still fighting. People are still dying. You know. But at whose expense? At our expense, civilians. You see, we're fighting a cause of 2-3 men who seek to benefit, while million men fall. Most soldiers, I believe that they're fighting a battle that they don't even understand. Because they're told that this is a battle that you must fight for this and this and that. But only to find out that there are underlies here and there. So it's high time we need to look at things in a microscopic format. You know, we can't just take things as they are.
Yeah.
You know.
Man.
So it's a problem.
Yeah.
So I think young people are starting to realize that they have more power and potential to change the course. You know, I don't care whether it's the New World Order cabal or whatever of those guys. I don't care whether this secret society guys who are maneuvering things around. If young people can find each other, we can change the course, and we'll define our new struggle and our new revolution.
Man, thank you very much for joining us, man. Tumelo Mokoena. That's it, guys. We were joined by Tumelo Mokoena discussing youth activism in South Africa today. But I like that we went broad and discussed it at a global scale. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to share the video. Tell your friends that the Kasi Talks are on. We out.